So, yeah, and it was, yeah, I learned nothing.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
The only thing, yeah, the only thing I got out of it was, that, varsity had team meals planned, she had dates, and so the JV guys said, that was scheduled out for yay. We could have done that apparently, right around, when we were all driving to school anyway. I'm like, okay, things to do. You know, and I hadn't met the basketball coach. I could meet you any other time. He's what? No, it was, the girls coach last year. So he's coming up from, middle school. Okay. Teacher, got it. Middle school. Got it. And I don't know who's gonna do so. Yeah, I really think it was nice.
You guys ready?
I said, you know what, that's one thing, the new principal, I love it. I'm like, we got the.
The November 7th, 2016 City of Vandalia Council meeting will now come to order. We will have a moment of reflection followed by the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. Would you please stand for the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Council members, you have had the opportunity to review the council study session minutes of October the 17th and also the council meeting minutes of October the 17th. Are there any additions or corrections to be made? Seeing none, they'll stand as approved. We have no communication, petitions, or awards this evening, nor do we have any public hearings. And that brings us to the comments from interested citizens. And if there's someone in our audience who would like to make comment, please come to the podium, state your name and address for our records and your comment.
Holly Wiggins, 660 Castle Creek Drive. I was just coming to let you know that we once again are partnering with Salvation Army to create a Gift of Power program. I think I talked to you about it last year. So as citizens come into the city and ask for help, that is one place they can call and go. They need to utilize some of their other funding options that are out there for low income first, but then they can go. Interviews will not be until mid-January, so it's really the end of that heating season where other funding is run out, and they would go to the Salvation Army. We do the initial gifting to get this program started, and they will do interviews and help folks with their electric bills to get them through the heating season. And we will also do announcements to our customers, hoping that they will donate into the program to help their neighbors in need. Thank you.
Thank you, Holly. Anyone else?
Good evening, Your Honor. Eric Bland on behalf of Miami Valley Shooting Grounds. My office is at 865 South Dixie Road here in Vandalia. On behalf of Miami Valley Shooting Grounds, we'd like to thank Mr. McDonald and Mr. Cruzy for coming out and spending time with us this morning, reviewing the site and helping us address the complaint of one of the citizens here in Vandalia. Miami Valley Shooting Grounds and the owner, Mr. Tackett, do look forward to working with the city to make sure that we address any concerns that may come up and that we make sure that we're good stewards of our community, our environment, and ultimately our rights. So we'd like to thank the council and Mr. McDonald and Mr. Cruzy for their work today. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Seeing none, we'll go on to the city manager's report. And my goodness, do we have anything?
I do have one item.
Okay.
Just want to let council know. There will be a Veterans Day ceremony this Friday, November 11th, beginning at 11 a.m. at the sports complex. Okay, we just found out about that today, so.
Thank you. We have no old business, so that brings us to our first resolution for this evening, and that is Resolution 16-R-89. Mr. McDonald?
Resolution 16R89, a resolution awarding the bid for the purchase of a portable air compressor requested by the Public Works Department to Ohio Cat at the lowest and best bid price of $22,650 and declaring the existing air compressor surplus property.
Thank you. Mr. Cruzy?
Thank you, Your Honor. We did receive one bid for this item. The budget for the item is $18,000. However, we do have sufficient funds in the CIP to cover the additional amount due to other equipment coming in under budget. The increase in cost for this item is due to new EPA Tier 4 emissions requirements for this piece of equipment.
Thank you. Do I have a motion?
I'll move that we approve Resolution 16-R-89 as written.
Second.
It's been moved by Councilman Herbst, second by Councilwoman Farce, that we do approve Resolution 16-R-89. Are there any comments? Seeing none, would you please call the roll?
Councilmember Gerhardt,
Yes.
Councilmember Farce,
Yes.
Councilmember Herbst,
Yes.
Councilmember Ehlers,
Yes.
Councilmember Blakesley,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Lewis,
Yes.
Mayor Setzer.
Yes, and the motion passes 7-0. Resolution 16-R-90. Mr. McDonald?
16R90, a resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into a contract for professional truck engineering services for the evaluation of semi-truck traffic on US 40 in Vandalia from the airport access road to I-75 with LJB Inc. as requested by the Development and Engineering Department as the best proposal in the amount of $17,970 as submitted with their statement of qualifications.
Thank you. Mr. Cruzy?
Thank you, Your Honor. So, a committee consisting of the mayor as well as council members Farce and Mr. Herbst, Mr. Cron, Ms. Holloway, and myself interviewed 3 prospective consulting engineering firms regarding the US 40 semi-truck issue. The committee determined LJB to be the best firm to undertake this evaluation and provide strategic recommendations.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
Your Honor, I move that we approve Resolution 16R90 as presented.
Second.
It's been moved by Vice Mayor Lewis, second by Councilman Gerhardt, that we do approve Resolution 16-R-90 as presented. Are there any comments? And I just have one. Do we have an idea? I know that they were going to get started immediately on this. Do you have any idea when they might have a completion?
A completion, I think it's going to really be determined by the results of the initial origin and destination study they do on the trucks and figuring out which firms we need to go out and speak with. I think they're looking at a short timeline. That we're looking at, 60 to 90 days? Yeah, they're ready. Yeah, so we'll contact them tomorrow morning. We've already been in contact with them. And again, they should get started here in the next week or so.
Great. Thank you. Anyone else? Would you please call the roll?
Councilmember Farce,
Yes.
Councilmember Herbst,
Yes.
Councilmember Ehlers,
Yes.
Councilmember Blakesley,
Yes.
Councilmember Gerhardt,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Lewis,
Yes.
Mayor Setzer.
Yes, and the motion carries 7-0. Resolution 16-R-91. Mr. McDonald?
16R91, a resolution designating the city of Vandalia, Ohio as a B-City USA affiliate.
Thank you. Mr. Cruzy?
Thank you, Your Honor. So with this resolution, again, we will be making application for the B-City USA program. It's going to be a joint venture between the city and the Historic Society of Vandalia Butler. The B-City USA program endorses a set of commitments defined in our resolution for creating sustainable habits for pollinators, and which are vital to feeding the planet.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
Make a motion that we approve Resolution 16R91.
Second.
It's been moved by Councilman Blakesley, second by Councilman Herbst, that we do approve Resolution 16-R-91. Comments?
I've got one. It's refreshing for a change to see something environmental that we've had a chance to have an effect on in compared to zoning issues and businesses and such, and not to say anything against that, but it's just refreshing to see that this is going to have a positive impact on our community and society as well. So I think it's a great partnership with what we're doing with the Historical Society.
I just want to emphasize that this is a direct relationship with the Historical Society, and I think that that's another way in which we all work together. So, anyone else? Would you please call the roll?
Councilmember Herbst,
Yes.
Councilmember Ehlers,
Yes.
Councilmember Blakesley,
Yes.
Councilmember Gerhardt,
Yes.
Councilmember Fairst?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Lewis?
Yes.
Mayor Setzer?
Yes, and the motion passes 7-0. Resolution 16-R-92, Mr. McDonald.
16R92, a resolution waiving the formal bidding process and authorizing the purchase of 13 Panasonic CF31 Toughbook mobile computers and related equipment requested by the Division of Police to CWG Inc. at the National Joint Powers Alliance purchasing contract amount of $54,032.
Thank you. Mr. Cruzy.
Thank you, Your Honor. Again, so the police department is proposing to replace their 5-year-old Tough Books. The in-car cameras utilized by the police department are also Panasonic. The 2016 budget does include $30,000 as part of a multi-year lease for the computers. However, an evaluation of the cost to purchase versus the cost to lease revealed that purchasing the mobile computers was more cost effective. So we'll save about $6,000 by purchasing these versus a long-term lease.
Okay, thank you. Do I have a motion?
I move that we approve Resolution 16R92 as read.
Second.
Ooh. It's been moved by Councilwoman Forrest, second by Councilman Ehlers, that we do approve Resolution 16-R-92 as presented. Any comments? Seeing none, would you please call the roll?
Councilmember Ehlers?
Yes.
Councilmember Blakesley?
Yes.
Councilmember Gerhard?
Yes.
Councilmember Fairst?
Yes.
Councilmember Herbst?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Lewis?
Yes.
Mayor Setzer?
Yes, and the motion carries 7-0. Resolution 16-R-93. Mr. McDonald?
16R93, a resolution waiving the formal bidding process and authorizing the city manager to negotiate and enter into an agreement with Midwest Sculpture Initiative for a temporary sculpture exhibit.
Thank you. Mr. Cruzy?
Thank you, Your Honor. So MSI has submitted a proposal to curate and erect an 8-piece temporary sculpture exhibit at the Vandalia Art Park from May 2017 through April of 2018. MSI will be responsible for the placement of the concrete and steel pads, the delivery and placement of the sculptures, and the removal of the sculptures at the conclusion of the exhibit. The city is responsible for providing general liability insurance, with MSI providing secondary insurance. Total cost of this proposal is not to exceed $14,000.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
Move that we approve Resolution 16-R-93.
Second.
It's been moved by Councilman Ehlers, second by Councilman Blakesley, that we do approve Resolution 16-R-93. Comments?
Just that this contract obligates us to $500 at this point unless if we change our mind, and this money is reimbursed back from our funds with the Dayton Foundation.
Thank you. Anyone else? Seeing none, would you please call the roll?
Councilmember Blakesley?
Yes.
Councilmember Gerhard?
Yes.
Councilmember Fairst?
Yes.
Councilmember Herbst?
Yes.
Councilmember Ehlers?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Lewis?
Yes.
Mayor Setzer?
Yes, and the motion carries 7-0. Resolution 16-R-94, Mr. McDonald.
16R94, a resolution establishing a summer meeting schedule for the months of June, July, and August 2017.
Thank you. Mr. Cruzy.
Thank you, Your Honors. Yes, so Council's 2017 meeting schedule would be the third Monday of the month in June, July, and August, with the workshop beginning at 6 o'clock and the council meeting beginning at 6:30.
Do I have a motion?
Make a motion we approve Resolution 16-R-94.
Second.
It's been moved by Councilman Gerhard, second by Vice Mayor Lewis, that we do approve Resolution 16-R-94. Comments? Seeing none, would you please call the roll?
Councilmember Gerhard?
Yes.
Councilmember Fairst?
Yes.
Councilmember Herbst?
Yes.
Councilmember Ehlers?
Yes.
Councilmember Blakesley?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Lewis?
Yes.
Mayor Setzer?
Yes, and the motion carries 7-0. We have ordinance in its first reading, and that's 16-33. Mr. McDonald.
Ordinance 1633, an ordinance approving a major amendment to the planned unit development for the property located at 400 National Road and owned by Max's Sports and Spirits, Inc. in the downtown business district with a PUD overlay.
Thank you. Mr. Cruzy.
Thank you, Your Honor. So Max's Sports and Spirits DBA Hot Air Balloon is requesting approval to allow a 10-foot by 24-foot covered patio to be constructed on the east side of the building. The patio is proposed to set about 10 feet from the side property line. The applicant indicates that the purpose for the patio is to allow for a central area for patrons to gather when going outside. However, no live entertainment would be permitted. The property is located in the downtown PUD district, which permits taverns and bars as a conditional use. One of the conditions is that such establishment shall be at least 200 feet from residential district. The building in question is less than 200 feet from the residential district to the east and is therefore a non-conforming use. The Planning Commission reviewed this request on October 11th and voted 2-2 on this matter.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
I make a motion, we approve ordinance 16-33 in its first reading.
Second.
It's been moved by Councilman Gerhardt, second by Councilman Ehlers, that we do approve ordinance 16-33 in its first reading. Any comments from anyone?
My main reason for approving it is instead of having smokers and people going outside the building scattered all around the area, it provides a fenced-in, safe environment for them and safer for people driving around the area as well as who are choosing to smoke outside, as the law requires them to do.
When this was first presented to us, I was a little conflicted on this. However, knowing to the neighbors nearby, and one more specifically at Kenbrook and Ranchview, no longer live there, but I did call the person and said, if this was to happen now while you're living there, how would you feel? And they would welcome it in the fact that it does concentrate the activity in one place. They said in the past that people had congregated around the dumpster out the back, hooting, hollering, and I'm sure there were some complaints. I know that they'd filed complaints before. So I feel that this is worthy of having centrally located for the purpose of which it's intended.
It's a horrible place for a bar, but state law changed to allow smoking or disallow smoking, so property owners got some limited options, and I think this is probably the best one available.
Anyone?
My concern is that it can encourage people to be drinking and smoking outside rather than being in the bar. Obviously not smoking inside the bar.
Anyone else? Seeing none, would you please call the roll?
Councilmember Forrest?
No.
Councilmember Herbst?
No.
Councilmember Ehlers?
Yes.
Councilmember Blakesley?
Yes.
Councilmember Gerhard?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Lewis?
Yes.
Mayor Setzer?
No, and the motion passes 4-3. That's the other ordinance that we have on the agenda tonight, and its first reading is ordinance 16-34. Mr. McDonald?
Ordinance 1634, an ordinance to make appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the City of Vandalia, Ohio during calendar year ending December 31, 2017.
Thank you. Mr. Cruzy?
Thank you, Your Honor. So Council conducted 3 budget review workshops to evaluate and discuss the proposed budget and also receive presentations from the department directors. Major changes being initiated as part of the 2017 budget include, again, an additional public safety specialist in the police department, a revised part-time firefighter EMT paramedic pay scale, additional part-time employee in the information technology department. We've got some additional part-time hours at the rec center for a gymnasium attendant to support the new gym use policy. We're going to be reducing our citywide resurfacing program 2017 through 2021 due to the resurfacing of the airport access road in 2018 and US 40 in 2019. We're discussing with council revised water and sewer rates because our the sewer fund has more funds on hand than needed. The water fund needs additional funds, so we're reviewing water and sewer rates to see if we can't level those funds out. And per council's direction, $25,000 has been budgeted in the community development line item in the city manager's budget.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
I make a motion, we approve ordinance 16-34 in its first reading.
Second.
It's been moved by Councilman Gerhard and second by Councilman Herbst, so we do approve ordinance 16-34 in its first reading. Any comments? Mr. Cruzy, I would just like for you, maybe I could do it, but to explain why, if indeed the sewer fund has money in it, but over the years, and it would be okay, but our water is not. why couldn't we just transfer some money?
Well, again, those are enterprise funds. So the fees that are generated through your sewer rate can only be used within the sewer fund only for purposes related to the sanitary sewer. And the same thing when you pay your utility bill, there's a water portion of the bill. So the water portion of the bill that you pay that we receive, those monies have to go into the water fund, and they can only be used for water-related projects. So what we have to do is reduce the rate we charge in the sewer fund and then increase the rate we charge in the water fund to try to get those to balance out. So there's little impact on the resident's monthly bill, but will generate less money in the sewer fund and more money in the water fund, especially to take care of the capital projects we've been undertaking the last couple of years and proposing to do over the next 4 to 5 years plus beyond in the water fund.
Thank you. Any other comments? Would you please call a roll?
Councilmember Herbst?
Yes.
Councilmember Ehlers?
Yes.
Councilmember Blakesley?
Yes.
Councilmember Gerhard?
Yes.
Councilmember Faust?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Lewis?
Yes.
Mayor Setzer?
Yes, and the motion carries 7-0. We have an ordinance in its second reading this evening, and that's ordinance 16-32. Mr. McDonald.
Ordinance 1632, an ordinance rezoning the property located at 335 South Dixie Drive from residential multifamily to neighborhood business and amending the zoning map of the city.
Thank you. Since this is an ordinance in its second reading, I'm here to open up a public hearing. If there's anyone in our audience that would like to make comment about this ordinance, would you please come to the podium, state your name and address for our records, and then your comment. Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing and ask for a motion.
I move that we approve ordinance 1632 in its second reading.
Second.
It's been moved by Councilwoman Forrest, second by Councilman Blakesley, that we do approve ordinance 16-32 in its second reading. Any comments? Seeing none, would you please call the roll?
Councilmember Ehlers?
Yes.
Councilmember Blakesley?
Yes.
Councilmember Gerhard?
Yes.
Councilmember Faust?
Yes.
Councilmember Herbst?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Lewis?
Yes.
Mayor Setzer?
Yes, and the motion passes 7-0. Council, you have reports, well, there are no emergency ordinances. You have reports from boards and commissions. You have the civil service minutes of March the 9th. You have the civil service draft minutes of October the 14th. You have the golf advisory draft minutes of October the 14th. You have planning commission minutes of October the 11th. You have public art and Vandalia minutes of August the 16th. You have public art and Vandalia draft minutes of October the 18th. The Vandalia cultural arts minutes of August the 16th. And the Vandalia cultural arts draft minutes of October the 18th. Any comments?
I have one. Notice that in the civil service draft minutes of October 14th, 2016, it mentioned about an August 9th meeting minutes, and I didn't see that in there. And I meant to mention that at the workshop, and just wondered if those didn't make it or where those were at. Just curious.
Might want to check on that. And I just want to bring up the fact that I did appreciate the fact that we do have the draft minutes from those committees that do not meet on a real regular, timely basis. I thought that was very helpful, as you pointed out. So, anybody else? Seeing none, we'll have comments, starting with Mr. McDonald. Mr. Cruzy.
Nothing additional this evening?
Okay, how about Mr. Gerhardt?
No comments tonight.
Councilman Blakesley?
Nothing tonight. Thank you.
Councilwoman Farce?
Nothing, thank you.
Councilman Herbst?
Nothing tonight.
Councilman Ehlers? Oh, no.
No, very quickly, I'd like to thank John and his staff, the department heads, for the budget review process. I thought it was thorough. It was complete. And each presenter, which were the department heads, were very knowledgeable on all the numbers and all the projects and processes. And I got to tell you, I'm always impressed by how frugal everyone is in justifying their numbers. So it was a good process. It was three nights, and I think we got a good budget for the next year. Thank you.
Can I add something now after he said that?
Okay.
I also want to thank John and his staff for the retreats we had during the year. A large part of the budget is capital expenditures on dump trucks, police cars. In prior years, we would hear about it, we'd see some pictures, but we actually went out and saw all this equipment, and we could see what was getting worn down. So when they asked for it, it brought a direct picture to mind. So we know these guys are doing a good job and not overspending and only replacing things that need replaced. So that was a very useful thing earlier in the year that made the budget process even better.
Thank you. I will pass your comments along.
Yeah.
You took my comment, but that's fine because
Okay. Yeah,
no, really, because
you see they're asking for a dump truck, and you've
I
seen
know.
one that's rusted out. It
Well-
makes it a lot easier to say yes.
I think the comment was, well, it doesn't have very much mileage. And then when we saw it, we recognized that it's used in a different way than we might be using that dump truck or a vehicle or whatever it might be. So, yes, I also found it. And I would like, if you don't mind, I would like to sort of do that again. Maybe not take as much time, but revisit each of the departments and so forth, just so that we can keep up and know what's coming in the future. So, thank you. And with that, the meeting is adjourned.